this is Real Talk Baseball and College Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange. We have a great show for you guys today, and there's a lot of baseball, a lot of news, a lot of things happening around the world with baseball. But before we get started, how's it going, Ernie?
What's going on, everybody? We're excited to be back on a special Sunday night here. We got a lot of ball to talk about, Carlos. We had a lot of walk-off wins over the weekend. We had some crazy incidents, a lot of crazy injuries, and there's some teams that are streaking and some teams that are falling apart, man. We'll break it down here in this Sunday night show, though, for sure.
Yes, we will, man. And we got one of the main topics is the White Sox, dude. What the hell is happening to them? Last year they couldn't even buy a win, and this year they're just winning every day. They're on the 5-game winning streak. That's a good thing. And we'll talk about the White Sox and see if they potentially can be a playoff team, or is it too soon to call? There's a little bit of injuries there, but let's talk about them, right? And then Tatis hits his first home run, and we'll talk about that as well because everybody's talking about it. We have the CBA first proposal, and there's a lot of things that the players are not liking, and some of the things that are on there that we can talk about because we are fans and we want this to be a deal so we can have a season next year. And of course, you already said the walk-off weekend. There was like 6, 7
Man, 6 or 7.
Right? And then of course we'll talk PCA. They got the overrated chant out there, and I think that was pretty cool that the St. Louis fans came together and did that, but PCA went through, and we'll talk about that as well. And then what in the world, our topic, and I might go on a little rant, and if I don't go on a little rant, maybe we can discuss it, Ernie, and we can move forward with that. But first, let's talk about the White Sox, man. Are the White Sox contenders or too soon to call?
Well, let's be honest, guys. They're contenders at this moment. The White Sox has been one of the hottest team in baseball right now. I know they're 5 games above 500, and they just swept the Tigers over the weekend. But it's a very fun young team that continues to play ball really well. They are finding ways with their pitching. Davis Martin, Eric Fetty, a veteran like that. They're just doing great things for this team. Noel Schultz, they're doing things that they need for their pitching standpoint. But not only that, they're defensively, their power, it's all working and it's all clicking with their kids. They're all young. Yeah. And it's amazing how they've had already up to 11 call-ups since the season started. And they're all rookies and they're all managing to win. Is this sustainable, though, Carlos, with all these rookies in their lineup?
And that's the thing, dude. Is it sustainable? That's the right question to ask right now because you have Murakami going into the IL with, I guess it's a strain or a pull muscle, or and is he going to come back in 2 weeks? Is he going to come back in a month? I mean, it's still a little too early, but the good thing for the White Sox is that they're playing in the AL Central. The Cleveland Guardians are, playing okay, but they're only 1 game ahead of the White Sox, and the White Sox are playing incredible ball. They just had a comeback on Friday, and that's one of our main topics, right? They had a good comeback. Miguel Vargas hit it out, and you should have seen the fans, dude. The fans went out crazy when Vargas hit that home run. Remember, Vargas last year was one of the main focus because they had a 21 game losing streak, and everybody pointed at his sad face coming from a championship team, Dodgers, going to the White Sox, right? And now you see that flip. You see that flip to where you're seeing all these youngsters. And Benintendi, dude, he's still playing baseball. He's playing for the White Sox. That's crazy, right? that name hasn't popped up in a long time, but he's doing it too with the White Sox. All these young studs are doing it with the White Sox, dude. So, yeah, I think it's sustainable, but do they need another piece? I love that, dude. I love that they do need another piece because we always talk about trades and what teams need that big bat. And I think after the All-Star break, if they keep it up, if they're around that mix, I think the White Sox are going to go after a big bat, dude. So
you're totally right.
Yeah, go for it.
You're totally right. A big bat in that middle of the lineup would only give the White Sox the edge. You're already talking about Murakami, who's with 20 home runs to start the season. He's already hitting the IL. Miguel Vargas with 13, and this weekend's walk-off was amazing. These two guys been a tandem pair that they've been working so well with one another, giving themselves plate protection. And you can't name it. Their defense has been on another level. Antonachi, that kid is special. Their right fielder, Nishida, Japanese right fielder, with a nice arm out there. And then you got guys like Chase Meidroth, Colson Montgomery, who continue getting on base and hitting home runs. This team is really surprising everyone. Like you mentioned, this team wasn't supposed to be this good yet. But the White Sox fans are seeing a lot of hope, and they're supporting. They're finally selling out the stadium, and they're going to support their White Sox because it's been a while. But
It has.
I have one thing to worry about going forward. The month of June is going to be a tough stretch for this White Sox team. Their next matchups is against the Braves, the Dodgers, the Yankees, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the Phillies. But they got 4 tough matchups in the month of June. I mean, you're obviously up 5 games above 500, but those 4 matchups there series are really tough against a young team like that. And like you said, a big veteran bat they really need, because Benintendi is still that guy, but he doesn't have that power he once did, and they definitely need a right hand hitter for me in that lineup.
I agree, man. I agree. Like, let me focus a little bit more on the White Sox team. Why they're doing so good? We have Davis Martin, 8-1, 67.2 innings pitched, 71 Ks, 200 ERA. So he's doing really good, dude. And then you have Colson Montgomery, which you just said, 13 home runs, 34 RBIs, OPS of a 786. That's crazy, dude. You have Randall Gretchen, since he debuted with the White Sox, at 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, 333 average. Man, this guy is doing great. And not only that, OPS in these last 18 games, dude, 1.062. That's crazy, man. When you start talking about things with these players and you start, focusing on their averages and their RBIs or home runs, you're like, wait, this team is a contending team. They're not just winning, off of like little bloopers and stuff. Like, no, they're hitting it out. They're putting the ball in play and they're doing what they need to do. They're pitching the ball. Their defense is out there. You just mentioned as well. And the last one I want to mention, you said Miguel Vargas, 13 home runs, 34 RBIs, 365 OBP, and then OPS, a .850. This guy is leading this team. And of course, Murakami, we already know 20 home runs. His batting average is not up there, but that batting presence is what does it for the White Sox. But dude, who would you like to see with that White Sox, and who would be available out there? I know it's a little bit too soon, but I want to ask this question. Why? Because maybe we'll get to see that prediction come true.
Ooh.
So who do you feel, or who do you think could fit with that White Sox team in the middle of the lineup?
Carlos, that's a great question. You have a lot of teams that could potentially trade someone. I would love them to go for a right-handed bat, possibly like a Spencer Torkelson, somebody with a big bat like that. But I'm not sure that would happen with a big rival like that in the division. But there's definitely pieces. It could also look into the NL. There's obviously some players out there. You could hit up Colorado. You could hit up some teams in the Central or in the NL East. Maybe the Mets want to sell off. You never know. So there is definitely potential for that trade deadline coming up, because there's going to be a lot of teams definitely trading.
Yeah, and that's crazy, man. Hopefully, I don't have the right answer for this White Sox team. I think for me, it's a little too soon to ask that question, but I ask it. Like I said, maybe we predict it and it happens. We'll play this clip in August and we're like, remember, we said that we're going to go get this guy. So we'll keep talking White Sox, of course, once the season keeps going. And if they can maintain this first or second place, 1 game behind the Cleveland Guardians right now, that's amazing, dude. From the worst record to this record now. So that's pretty cool, man. Anything else you want to add before we move from the White Sox? I'm just excited to talk about them. I haven't talked about them since what was it, 2020, when they had that incredible team and they didn't do anything about it.
It's definitely been a minute since this White Sox fans have been waiting, right? You're talking about a team that once had Luis Robert, Joan Moncada, and guys like Jose Abreu, and we're supposed to be big promising players. It just didn't pan out. But this White Sox team looks totally different. The past couple seasons, they traded all their top-tier players for a lot of top prospects, and their prospects are definitely delivering, and they're giving a bright future for this White Sox organization. And I think Pedro Grifol, their manager, is doing as best as he can to continue to develop these kids.
Yeah, and they'll be contending for a while, dude. So, all right, let's move on to the next one, man. And Tatis hit his first home run. I called it 2 weeks ago and it didn't happen, and now it happened and everybody's posting it on Instagram. It's everywhere and it's good, man. I honestly feel good for the guy. I bet he feels like a lot of stress off his back. And only good things are going to happen from here on out. Or do you feel like it's not going to happen for Tatis? I know you posted something on Instagram saying, is he going to hit more than these type of home runs? Are you going to hit, 1 to 5? 5 to 10, 10 to 15. So where are you on that?
No, you're totally. I think Tatis is definitely only going to get started getting hotter, guys. It's only a matter of time. After this home run yesterday, it was the most beautiful swing in baseball. Him hitting it out 450 feet out to left field. It's something beautiful from Tatis. And once he gets going, this guy's unstoppable. Obviously, he's not going to be that same power like he once had, but he's definitely going to reach that 15 to 20 home run mark. And it's without a doubt. I mean, Tatis definitely has that power if he really wants to and put a focus on it. We do know he's been dealing with a nagging injury, so it's only a matter of time for him to get that bat rolling. Man, that bat flip, though. Once I saw it, I was like, this is a beauty. And I can't believe it took him almost 245 bat appearances before he hit one out. That must have been a tough stretch for a guy like his caliber who knows he has that much potential and just couldn't hit it out. So,
Yeah.
Carlos, what are your thoughts? How many home runs do you think he's going to finish off the season? I know 1 in 2 months is not great, but there's definitely still 4 months left of baseball.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like maybe Tatis is a second half player. He would probably hit his 15 plus. Only because he started a little late these 2 last months. He didn't hit one. But I honestly feel like this guy's always been on fire. He's always been one of those players that are really hard to pitch around. And, every major league baseball player will start catching up to whatever they're throwing at him. And this guy, we've said it a couple of shows back that they've been pitching him inside, and we've kind of said that maybe he's scared to swing because he doesn't want to get hit. And he got hit last year a lot of times. So maybe he's just losing that fear, and that's why he got rid of that hit that home run this yesterday. And as you start being, looking at how he hitting and how he hit it out, I feel like that's a lot of stress off his back already because he had that monkey on his back and he just was stressing out so much that when he hit it out, I felt good for the guy. And you know what?
Yeah.
He's one of the rivals, dude. And I still felt good for the guy because I feel, as a baseball fan and looking at his growth, because we've seen him as a kid and we've seen how good he really is. And him struggling at the plate is not a good thing for baseball. So I'm happy he did hit it out. Hopefully he finds it. He is hitting 265. It's not where we want Tatis to be. He needs to be a little bit higher than that. 1 home run. He has been stealing a lot of bases, though. He stole 14, and he has 18 RBI. So those numbers needs to increase. He went 0 for 4 today. They did lose the series against the Nationals, but I think it's going to be a good thing. He's going to have to wait to go home and get those numbers going. I think he'll be all right, dude. I honestly do. Yeah.
Let's be honest. Baseball's a better game when Fernando Tatis is on fire. Let's go back to 2021 when he hit those 42 home runs. That was a special run that year. And Tatis obviously got caught up with steroids after. But that just showed you what the potential he has if he's got the bat going, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We're hoping for the best for him. So
yeah, and there's a lot of things that was going in the background behind Tatis. Let's not forget that he was battling something in the court, and a lot of people weren't talking about it. He signed a deal with one of these agencies when he was younger that he has to pay that 10-20% to that agency once he gets famous. So he was promised those $2 million and he had those $2 million, but in return, once he gets that big contract, he has to return that money back. He lost that case, so now he has to pay that agency that money. So that adds a lot of stress for a baseball player because he's out there playing and he doesn't know if he's going to get that full check or he has to pay it back. And of course, like I said, he lost, and maybe he can put that behind him. Maybe that can be like, you know what, that money is already gone. I need to focus on baseball now. And, this is what happened. He hit a home run. So we'll get to see him play a little bit better baseball. All right, let's move on to the next one when we have the CBA first proposal, dude. And this is one of the things that every baseball fan should be talking about. And we're going to talk about it, of course. Did you see what happened with the CBA this past week?
Yes, there was a new agreement proposal thrown out there by the MLBPA. They're announcing that there's going to be a salary floor and a salary cap for baseball. That's the proposal. A lot of fans seem to say it's going to go straight to lockdown. The owners are definitely not going to agree with this one, but they're basically announcing that the salary floor has to be $171 million, which almost half the league is not spending. And then you got a salary cap where teams must spend only less than $243.5 million, which 8 or 9 teams are spending over the cap right now. So it's going to be an interesting one, Carlos, because teams are going to have to spend, and then the teams are going to have to cut their payroll, and that's going to be difficult. I don't see how the owners are going to finally figure this out. I don't feel like that's enough gap it has to be at least above 300 million for me. But there's definitely has to be some type of salary floor for sure. And the
Yeah.
salary, I could see it as well because all four major sports in America has a salary cap. Carlos, football, basketball, NHL all have it. So why not baseball?
Yeah. And you said the salary for is 171.2 million payroll. So there's actually not couple, there's a lot of teams under that threshold right now. And if you look at what they went for and they said, okay, we're gonna go to 245.3 million payroll, being the salary cap. And you're saying, okay, there's 5 teams that are not meeting that. So if this was to go through, just to say if it got approved today, it would be like these teams have to dismantle all these big contracts, send them elsewhere, and they have to pay in another team. So this is what's going on with the CBA. I know they started at 245 million, and it's not going to be there. It's only going to be in the 350s, maybe 370s, maybe even the fours. But that salary floor, I honestly feel like that needs to be there or a little bit higher, because if you have all these owners saying that, okay, we can do that, we can meet that 1.71, well, 171.2 million, why not do it now? Why you have to wait for CBA to be approved, or why do you have to have a rule for you to do it? So that kind of sucks. That shows you how much these owners don't care. They just want to go ahead and put whatever on the field and expect the fan to pay those crazy prices to go and watch a game, especially if there's now no superstars out there, right? But yeah, it's just a
You're
start.
totally
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, man. It's just a start, but it's frustrating to know that there's all these owners that are not spending that money. You're talking about the Marlins, the Guardians, the Brewers. They stay below 100 million every year, guys,
Yeah,
and somehow they manage to win. So for them, it's like, why spend if I could still get first place?
yeah,
And we're just developing prospects and still winning. While you got these top teams like the Dodgers and Mets that rely on the TV deals to get that. And that's going to be a new thing as well for the CBA proposal, right, Carlos? The TV
yeah.
deals are not going to be split for all 30 teams. All revenue will be used for all 30 teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so all revenue will be split into everybody. So if like the Dodgers, they have their own TV deal, they have to split it between all 30 teams, which is, they're going to lose in that regards. But if there's a salary cap, also they're going to lose some players because they're over that threshold. Now over that 245.3 million payroll, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Phillies, and the Atlanta Braves are above it. You want to hear the ones that are under? There's a lot of teams, dude. I'll start. You got the Orioles, you got the Mariners, you got the Kansas City Royals, the Reds, the Brewers, which you mentioned, the Rockies, the Twins, the Pirates, the Rays, the St. Louis Cardinals, the A's. I'm not going to say Sacramento, Washington, and you have the White Sox, the Guardians, and you set the Marlins. That's a lot of teams, dude. And they're all now agreeing to have that salary floor. That's
Exactly.
crazy,
So
right?
you think the owners are going to definitely want to pay that 171.2 million? I don't see it happening. If they're already underspending and still managing to finish first, why spend more money? So the lockout's coming, guys. So I'm kind of worried. I mean, we're going to miss baseball for some time. So
Yeah. And it's crazy, dude, because it's
hopefully
the
there is
owners.
some work around it and we find ways to get baseball going as soon as possible.
So it's the owners, of course, it's the owners against the players, and the players want to get paid. The worker always wants to get paid. That's what's going on right here. This is where the battle is going to be, and you know what? the the game is it's so high right now. It's at its highest peak it's ever been, and it'll suck if it does hit to where they have to have a lockout. But I understand, and every baseball fan understands that the players want to get paid and the owners don't want to pay. So maybe they can find that middle ground, and we don't have to miss anything. We don't have to miss 1 year, like we said in the other shows. We don't want to miss a year of our seeing our favorite players, because some of these players are getting older, and missing 1 year, it's gonna suck, man. It's gonna really, really suck. And hopefully, we don't do that. So, ready to move on to the next one, or we're good, or you want to say
Yeah,
something else?
move on to the next topic, but I just want to give special shout out to all our listeners out there. Thank you, Jamal, Clear Skies, Cotton Candy Skies. Thank you guys all for stopping by and leaving some comments there. Jamal wants to throw out there was an interesting incident today, guys. For those who have not heard about it, Jesus Sanchez got hit with a baseball from a fan that threw a ball from right field. fans were speculating that this should not be happening in games. But after closely watching the video, you see Jesus Sanchez waving his glove to some fans, and there was a kid in the outfield thinking that he was talking to him to throw the ball back and forth. He hit his wrist with the baseball, and Jesus Sanchez had to leave the stadium. It was really an unfortunate event, because you do enjoy those interactions when you see players play catch with the kids, right? But I think going forward, this is going to have to stop. I think the MLBPA is going to tell all players, please do not throw or play catch with the kids anymore. Yeah. And that's an unfortunate event because us as fans being in right field or left field, you just want to catch a baseball. And you sometimes your favorite right fielder, like Aaron Judge, you're like, Aaron, throw me one here. And he just will lob you one up there to play catch. And that's exciting for a kid, right? That's a great memory for a kid. So I feel bad for this kid because he's being blamed like he's, at fault. And, there was just some miscommunication, and it's an unfortunate event.
Yeah, I'm a dad, I'm a parent, and I can say, you know what, I can show you a little bit. I can show my kid not to do things like that either. Like, come on, if someone's not looking or not paying attention to you, like, you need to tell your kid, like, hey, you can hurt someone. You can definitely, like, injure them. You can send them to the doctor. Or, like, you have to make sure that they're paying attention and they're looking directly at you and doing that. So, there's a lot of fan, etiquette too. You got to teach your kids that, and that's, I'm just being as brutal and as honest as I can be, because I have kids, and I have told my kids too, like, don't ever use a profanity against these players. These players are there because they're professionals and they're good at what they're doing, so you got to respect their game. You can't be hating on them. Like yesterday, I told you before the show started, Tanner Scott got a bunch of death threats, dude. And the Dodgers did lose to the Phillies yesterday, and that's another thing. Like, really, like, this guy has been pitching really good, and just because he gave it up yesterday, you're gonna give him death threats? That's not cool either, man. Like, where's the fan etiquette? Where is, like, where's the sanity? Is this a sport? This is for us to get entertained, not to get super mad and get it against the guy. If you're betting, that's your deal, not his deal. You decided to bet. You decided to lose the money, not him. So for all you fans out there doing things like that making no sense and trying to send death threats to a man that's doing his job, get out of the game, dude. Go do something else. Don't bother being a baseball fan, because I think baseball fans, compared to the other fans in other sports, I think we're a little bit more, educated and a little bit more smarter than that, right? So I'll leave it at that, dude.
Baseball fans have this type of way of being like respectful, and we appreciate the game for what it is, and we don't try to mess with it or change it much. Exactly. But Carlos, you bring great awareness for these people. Yeah, man, poor kid. You feel for the kid, and we could just definitely be a learning lesson from all players going forward. Yeah, I'm ready for that next topic, man. I think we're going to go ahead into the walk-off weekend. It was amazing series this week. A bunch of walk-offs. Friday's game, we had 5 total walk-offs. And then today we had 1 from the Mariners. The game just continues to be so close, and we have some intense matchups going into the extra innings sometimes. And these closers are put in tough situations. And Tanner Scott's was one example like yesterday. Yeah. But which walk-off impressed you the most this weekend, Carlos?
Dude, I think I said it at the beginning of the show, man. The White Sox, Miguel Vargas hitting that home run. I just like the excitement and how crazy the people went. I don't know. I guess it's because I haven't seen the White Sox be this good in a while. I feel for those fans, and I feel like I follow a few fans on TikTok that are from Chicago, and they're big White Sox fans. So maybe that's why, because they recorded themselves how excited it was to hit that home run. Reminds me of when the Dodgers won the World Series and how ridiculous I did, So like, I saw that, and I saw this fan celebrating. So I think that one was more impactful than anything, dude. Really? And I think that was cool. Yeah.
You're totally right. I mean, that walk-up by Miguel Vargas was sick. Let's be honest. This kid's on a tear. The Dodgers couldn't wait for him to grow up, but he's definitely grown up in this game. He's a future all-star, and he's a real deal. And the White Sox have a good kid there. Now, I have a better walk-off that I watched this weekend, and that's the Colorado Rockies. And it's because it's not talked about much. We're going to talk about Ezequiel Tovar. The team was down twice. In the 8th inning, Ezequiel Tovar hits a 2-run bomb to tie the game. And it comes to bottom of the 9th. And he's back up to bat, and now he hits a 2-run home run to win the game. It was an impressive outing for me from him. 2 home runs, one in the 8th and one in the 9th. What can you ask from a batter? That's the best way to finish a game from a hitter. I know you play baseball, college ball, Carlos. Imagine hitting one in the 8th to tie the game, in the 9th, then to walk it off. How special does that feel?
Dude, it just turns you on from that point on, man. I think when you hit a home run in the 8th inning and then you hit it in the ninth to walk it off, and you've been kind of that player that everybody kind of has been looking at in Colorado to be the it factor, to be the team captain, to be the guy, and to do that, I think is just going to turn them on. And dude, to be honest, like that, I honestly feel that Tovar is going to be electric from here on out, man. And a lot of fantasy fans are on here as well, but he's still available. And if he's available, go pick him up because I think he's
Yeah,
going to turn it on.
Ezekiel Tovar has been a defensive specialist for this Rockies team all year round, and that's what he's known for. And his bat has just not lived up to expectations. But
No.
this weekend alone, after that two home run game, that's a special one, guys. And like I
Yeah, it
said,
is.
he's only gonna get fired up and go into the right direction for the rest of the season for sure.
Yes, sir, it is, man, and we're gonna keep seeing that player grow. And the Rockies, just like the White Sox have been picking up, and we have the main topic, which is of the White Sox. Maybe we're gonna have the Rockies soon, and they are getting close. It's just Colorado is a hard place to pitch. They have to focus on pitching, right? And that's where we're at with them. But they're getting close to. They're getting close to getting a good group there, and we'll get to see, Tovar. We'll get to see other players come from there, and we'll probably have a Rockies, show on that.
Yeah,
All right,
imagine that. That'd be
imagine that,
crazy.
right? All right, let's go on to the last topic. Or, we still have two more topics, but this is one of the topics that we saw this weekend. And we had the Cubs, we had the Cardinals, we have PCA, we had the Cardinals screaming overrated, and this man delivered, dude. I know we've talked about PCA before and how we just don't, how we're not in that, PCA side. What did you think of this though when it happened? Your inner baseball fan. What did you say? Did you feel like, it's whatever, or
No,
oh man, that's dope?
it was dope. Let's be honest. When you're
Yeah,
being called overrated, the top star fans in Busch Stadium are not playing around. They're
yeah,
making an impact in the games for these Cardinals lately. Oliver Marmol even invited them for a second game when it all first happened because that's how much of an impact they made. And them calling PCA overrated, I don't think as a player you want to be called that, Carlos. Let's be
oh
honest.
no, no,
PCA is an all-star player, yet he's not living up to expectation this year. Batting 240 with only 7 home runs. He's supposed to be that leader after Kyle Tucker took off, and that's why he got paid. He has
yeah,
not lived up to it. He's been up to no good, to making some comments about certain fans and making comments to some fans too in the stands, which is not good. Now this
yeah,
weekend he got called overrated, and he showed out. He had 4 hits yesterday and a great diving catch. It was an
yeah,
impressive outing. It was definitely his best game of the year. It was a PCA game, and the fans let him hear it, but he responded, which was nice to see. As a
yeah.
player, that's the way to clap back. You know what I mean?
That's true. I honestly think this guy likes the negativity, though. He likes
I
the
think so too.
negativity being there, and he just grows from it. There's so many players like that. We were talking about the basketball game. We were talking about the San Antonio Spurs versus OKC. We were just saying, like, man, like some of these players just flop too much. Like, I'm tired of seeing that. And yesterday's game was really incredible. I know we're a baseball channel, but we watch other sports too.
Hmm.
We're into it. I think we're into every sport, but we are a baseball channel. I just want to get into how we hate on some of these players because they do things that we just don't appreciate. We just don't like. And PCA is one of those players, dude. But yesterday when they were saying that overrated, and he came through and hit that home run, I'm like, hell yeah, I love that. I love that for him. But I can't cheer for the dude.
You know what?
I can't
He's
cheer
just
for him.
rubbed people the wrong way with his comments, and
Yeah,
it happens. There has to be villains in the game sometimes. In basketball, we have Dylan Brooks, sitting
yeah,
courtside watching LeBron getting swept, and he's just like being the villain. That's who
yeah,
PCA is looking like these days. But the kid's amazing. At the end of the day, he brings a
yeah,
great speed to the game, a great defense, and he just can't get his back going because once he does, man, this Cubs team is dangerous. They've just been in a really tough stretch lately, coming off a 10-game losing streak. And then after that incident with the fan in the stands, it felt like his game took a dip. I'm not sure what was going on, but yeah, this was a great way to bounce back this weekend against the Cardinals on Saturday night. And there were some Cubs fans there for support, wearing a Pete shirt as well. And he, waved back at them after making that incredible catch. I hate calling players overrated, Carlos, because I see them in the MLB level, and I'm like, how could I call these guys overrated when I can't even be in the field? I don't even have that talent.
Exactly.
As much as I don't love or hate them, I can't call them overrated because they're still so talented that I don't possibly will never be able to get to their level.
Yeah, you just hit it on the nail, dude. I can't do that either. I can't be a hypocrite and call these players out and telling them you suck, you do this. Maybe playing around, when there's a bunch of fans and you follow along. But when you talk about stuff like that, when you say like, oh, these players, they suck, they do this, they do that. They're talented, man. I never got to that level, and you just said it. It's just a respect, and you know how much work they put into their craft. They have to do this a 24/7 type of thing. They place 162 games. This is really hard for them, dude. So they have to be away from their family. Imagine all that stuff they have to go through, and then still have to put up with some super fans out there. And and you have to play your game, dude. And so, like I said, I was happy for him, but I can't be on his side, just because he has that negativity against, LA fans. So I'll leave it at that, dude.
Oh man, he's an LA kid. You gotta give him some praise when you have to sometimes.
Oh yeah, and I do. I don't know why he hates so much on the LA fans. I think he just wanted to be one of those kids or one of those players that when you say the Dodgers, you automatically like jump out to the top. You can be a number 10 most viewed player, and with you saying the Dodgers, you go all the way up there. It's like all these TikTokers out there. They can't get their own followers to follow them in their own team, so they got to mention the Dodgers, dude. And most of these fans or most of these TikTok people or YouTube people, that's what they do right now. And the Dodger name is what the brand is right now, is what's on fire.
What
Everybody
sells.
gets to see it. Yeah. And we talked about it too, though. Ernie, remember the Padres are one of those social media teams right now. And that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing, because all these social media platforms talk about the Padres. Like yesterday when Tatis hit that home run, it was everywhere, dude. I clicked on every social media and it popped up. That was the first thing that was on there. So
Nando Wendy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. So it's either the Padres doing the right networking or putting the Dodgers name on there so you can, blow up. And that's what PCA did. So all right.
Great,
let's go
man.
to our last segment, dude. What in the world happened to? And then of course, I'll go ahead and I think I don't know if I'm gonna have a rant on this, Ernie. Hopefully not.
Go for it.
But but hopefully yes. So what in the
That's
world
what baseball
happened
fans
to?
do.
Yeah, we rant, right? So what in the world happened to the MLB, dude? So I don't know if a lot of people heard what happened. Pitcher Abner Uribe struck out a hitter from the Cardinals, and of course he did the Triple H, China thing, exactly the X, and he did it 3 times. So the MLB is probably saying, "No, man, you can only do it 2, not 3." And of course he got suspended. So when a player gets suspended for doing or celebrating something, you as a fan start, wait, look at the other side though. Some of these players are actually showboating and taunting the other teams. Why aren't they doing, a thing about that? When a pitcher does it, it seems like it's something that's not supposed to happen. Like when a pitcher celebrates, it's like, no, you can't do that. But a hitter does it, and they're like, okay, he can do it. So this is where I feel like a 1-game suspension, he should have not got anything. I think they should have kind of went like, hey, we'll talk to you. You can do it, but just be moderate. Don't do it to the other team. Do it to the hitter and then get the hell out. I think it would have been amazing, dude, if MLB would have done it that way. But
you know what?
Go
for it, Carlos. Go for it.
All right. I have one more thing. So you can cheat and win the World Series and get a ring, right? But you can't triple thrust because you're going to get suspended. You can tell a lady to shut the front door and suck my Richard, but you can't celebrate on the mound after a strikeout. You can celebrate Shawn Michael or China or X-Pac, because those are the guys from D-Generation X, and get suspended, but you can't go ahead and say what you really feel when you're on there. I just honestly didn't like it, dude. I'm
Mm.
against it. I didn't think he needed to get suspended. I think they should have celebrated the next day. He got into the game and he did the same thing, dude. And I mean, he just didn't do the Triple H thing. But imagine if he would have done it. Oh my God, he would have been the legend. And I think all the MLB fans would have been behind that, right?
Oh, Carlos,
Go
let's
ahead.
be
Go ahead.
honest, man. We had the show on Wednesday. We had Jamal on here. We gave the breakdown of this whole incident.
Yeah, we did.
Man, as a fan, this was lovely to see.
Yeah.
Watching the X-Pac moves, and I was like,
Right.
oh my God, it brought my childhood back. I was excited to see it. And let's be honest, the Cardinal players were chirping at Abner Uribe.
Yeah.
And that's why he showed his motion straight to the dugout. A pitcher would never do that. It's had to happen because they were being chirped at, and he responded back. Now you have Pat Murphy, an old school manager who's not about that style. And this is a reason why he didn't even bother to appeal for his player that suspension. Most players, when they get suspended, they go for an appeal and they talk to the MLB and they be like, can you please reduce that suspension? That's what should have happened. But I feel like Pat Murphy didn't have his players back there because he didn't agree with his player. And I didn't like that a little bit. As much as he could have talked to him and been like, hey, I didn't like that move. Don't do it again. But let's go appeal this talk with MLB. I'd expect a little bit more from Pat Murphy. And, you know, as much as he's an old school kind of guy, I don't like the move because I feel like it messes with the whole clubhouse and the way people feel there.
Yeah, you know, and let me add a little bit to it, Ernie, because I honestly feel like maybe Pat Murphy would have been like, all right, you know what, you did it. I'll go talk to you. And you know, if this is gonna be something that you're gonna do, don't do it. Like I said, don't do it to the team.
Yeah.
Do it to us. You know, make that gesture to our team. I love he did it against the Cardinals, though. I love that he did it to the Cardinals. Like you said, they were chirping on him, they were telling him things, and he said it like the next day, something like that happened again. He celebrated differently. But imagine he would have done it again. I think MLB would have been on top right now. Would have been like, I can't wait to see him pitch to see if he's gonna do it. You know, so MLB would have gained a lot from this, dude. And you know, we saw this in WWE, dude, in WWF at the time. It was one of those things where you were a kid and you saw it and you heard the song and you were like, yeah, let's do it, you know? You saw Shawn Michaels, Triple H, you saw these guys do it. What's up, man? Go ahead.
That's what it was selling, right? And now you have a closer doing it. We're talking about closers coming into the game with some intro walk-up songs, and we're hyped for that. Now imagine watching the closer do the final like fatality Mortal Kombat move. People would go crazy. You have a walk-up song and then the fatality move to end the game, you know, pull at the sword. I don't know, you name it. But fans want to see something crazy like that. And, you know, unfortunately, the MLB is shutting it down, and that's not what we want as fans. I'm surprised they haven't shut off the tarps off. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Should fans continue taking off the shirts and swinging their shirts on the field? Is that okay? Let's be honest.
You know what? I think it's okay. It's all friendly. It's all like it's all bringing fans in there. You're watching the game. You're like, I wonder if they're going to do it in this game. I wonder if those fans are going to be in this game. Like, so it's fun. I know the Angels started doing it. They started calling out their players out there, and they started doing all that
Their
stuff,
owner,
which is yeah. So that they sell the team, right? But that's I think when you have your fans doing things and they're seeing these players celebrate. I honestly think that the fans get more into baseball. You're at a peak right now. You can grow more if you allow these guys to be themselves. Because when you're holding back and you're holding these players back, you could say, hey, just don't do it to the other team. Do it to our team. Change it up a little bit. But if you're not letting them celebrate, you're kind of hindering their personality, and you're kind of shutting it off for them. And sometimes that could affect the player, dude. Let's be honest. That can happen, right? So I mean,
totally right.
We'll
there,
see.
Carlos.
Yeah, hey,
Jamal,
honestly,
you're on
dude,
to something here. He's saying, can you imagine Uribe coming out to the DX team? To walk, you got a great point there, man. He definitely has to walk out with that song now going forward, and maybe throw the X sign before he comes onto the field. Let's do it. That's our request from Real Talk Baseball.
As soon as it says break it down, get out there, just do it. I think that'll be dope, man. Can't wait. I honestly think, I hope he does. I think he should do it. They should do it. And, the general manager for the Milwaukee Brewers should be like, you know what? go ahead and do it. We got your back. We'll pay that fine, and we'll pay, or actually we'll fight that suspension if it happens, because
Let,
we want that to happen.
exactly. Look at the Savannah Bananas, how successful it has been.
Yes,
Because the
yes,
amount of entertainment it brings to the kids and fan bases. You're not there to watch baseball. You're there to see what craziness they're about to do, what
yeah,
experiment they've been working on in the back, and how they're gonna throw fire on the baseball or try to catch it with that. I don't know, you name
yeah,
it. That
yeah.
would definitely be a change to the game that we need for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, there's a lot of people on here. If you haven't hit that like, go ahead and hit that like. If you're new here and you haven't hit that subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe. We growing a little bit. We want to grow a lot more. We just want to go ahead and make sure that you don't miss out the shows and you don't miss out what we have to talk about. We do have a Wednesday show, and that's the top, when we talk about prospects. And that's been working, right, Ernie? Those prospects. We've been learning a lot about those prospects lately.
Right. The game has continued to grow so much and it gets so younger. And we got Jamal here, who's been a great addition to our team, who continues to give us some more insight on these young kids that are about to come up. And it's crazy. He'll give a breakdown of them. And then next week, they're getting the call up. And we're already, I already heard about this guy. I already watched some highlights. I'm ready to go. And if you
Yeah,
play fantasy, it only benefits you even more because now you're hearing about guys before your friends. So it
true.
definitely benefits you. This Wednesday show has been special, guys. I mean, we also give a quick breakdown of the weekday series. A lot of things go down in baseball, and it feels like on a daily basis, there's always some noise in baseball. So it's
Definitely,
fun.
dude. Definitely. Hey, man, we reached that point in time. I think we have all our topics. I know there's a lot of baseball, but we're trying to focus more on the top topics of the game. We talked about the White Sox a lot, and that's it. Really fun when we start talking about other teams that are not our team, right? Because then we can kind of say, yeah, these guys know baseball. These guys know what they're talking about. So all of us
Yeah,
here on Real Talk Baseball, we know baseball.
yeah, Carlos. And you're talking about, like you said, we mentioned the previously in the show, the White Sox have not been good for such a long time, and being able to talk about a team that's contending and showing some signs of life, it's great. From
Yeah,
being the worst record team for the past 2 seasons to finally being in contention to the playoffs, these surprise stories are always great for the game of baseball. We had it back with the Orioles a couple seasons ago. We got the Rays always in the mix. The Cardinals have also been a shock this year. Teams
yeah,
like that, always a great thing for baseball because we always have this idea like, oh, these top teams are going to automatically finish first, and they don't. Look at the
yeah,
Mets
yeah.
sitting in last place right now, and it's not looking good. So no
It's
matter
not.
what your payroll is, you can still be a bottom feeder if
Yeah.
your team doesn't perform.
Yep. You said the right things right there. I just want to give out a big shout out to two players right now. Nick Martinez have been playing lights out this year. And you talk about Max Myers, who's another player that comes from the Marlins that has, I mean, he did get blown up last game, but he has been coming from nowhere, dude. And these two players, I just want to give a big shout out because if you have them on your fantasy, dude, this is the second time I say fantasy baseball. We used to be a fantasy baseball podcast, right? And we had that show, but these guys are if they're available for you guys, and I don't think they are, go ahead and grab them. But they've been doing really good. And Nick Martinez, dude, he's one of those guys that's been in the bullpen and in the bullpen starter role, and this year he's just been lights out. That's crazy to me. That's super crazy. All right, man. Last mentions, Ernie. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to thank all our listeners for staying active on the chat. We truly appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you guys. We hope to see you guys on the Wednesday and next Sunday show. Let's continue growing this community. We love tucking ball, and hopefully some more baseball craziness happens over the week so we could break it down here in Real Talk Baseball.
Definitely. And of course, this is a live show. If you have a question, you can go ahead and put it on here. And if we can go ahead and answer it right there and then, we'll go ahead and do it. This is our premise of our show. We like for you to be involved. And this is the only way we're going to be able to grow if you actually see that we're responding to your questions. And if you put it out there, we'll go ahead and do it. There's 10 people on right now. I hope I see these 10 likes on this video and you guys share it. And like I said, the only way we're going to grow is if you guys, be interactive with us and share these videos and like these videos. Like, we love baseball. I think it's just pretty apparent, right? So
Yeah, Carlos, talking
right?
about your background, it's looking pretty sick out there, man. Your background's looking nice, man.
let, let
Looks
me
like
let
you're
me
going to have
let,
to have a barbecue pretty soon there.
let me move out of the way.
You still
That's a
have to have the Giants toilet, huh? You love the Giants.
I
Let's
love
be
it. I
honest.
love it. I love it. I love that toilet seat with that sign on it. That's the truth. Uh, you told me last year I should put the Padre one on there. Should I?
I think it's time. Let's be honest, guys. In the chat, should Carlos add the Padres toilet seat now? The Giants have not been a real rivalry no more. Let's be honest. The Padres are the rivalry in baseball now with the Dodgers.
I could do that. I could do that. I can go ahead and Tony, what's up, man? He's over there saying accept my trade. Get out of here with it. I don't know what trade are you talking about? Are you talking to Ernie or me? I don't know what you're talking about. But we'll check it out. All right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is our last part. From all of us here on Real Talk Baseball and College Baseball, this is Ernie Orange, Real Talk Baseball, signing out.